Shall we begin?
Hello, friends, and welcome back to the More Than Just Keto podcast. This is episode number 20. I am one of your hosts, Ashley.
Hey everyone, I am your other host, Molly, and today we're going to talk about staying keto in a non-keto family. It's not that easy. Or is it? That's what we're going to talk about today. When I decided to try keto, I didn't have any friends or family. We've talked about this before. I didn't have any friends or family that were keto. And
You were just all in your lonesome.
I was all on my lonesome. Nobody. And you know what? Even more so, some people said, in my family, said they didn't like keto. But I didn't let that stop me. I didn't let that stop me. Not this time. Not this time. It was my second attempt, and I was not going to let anyone stop me again. So I decided to go full force and become keto.
She was real serious.
I was very serious. And my husband even said to me that he would support me, but he would not go keto because he didn't want to eat all that bacon. That's what he said.
A little sprinkle of haterade is what I'm hearing.
He didn't know, but listen.
Yeah.
He watched me and he saw how I was feeling and he saw the results I was having with my body. And guess who became keto?
Yes, I know. I love that.
I know.
That he jumped on the bandwagon.
6 months later, he said, you know what? It's not all bacon. I'm like, you know what? You're right. How about that? And then he jumped on the bandwagon.
Well, what do you know? What do you know? The internet was a little wrong.
About that. We're going to talk about that another day. But let's talk about our families. So for that 6 months, I would still make food for my family. I would just adapt it for them to have their norm and for me to still be able to stay keto.
In the beginning, I definitely made separate meals because I felt like I was trialing and erroring my own diet. And I did keto a little bit different. It was really strict and clean. And I knew a lot of things my family did not want to eat. And I wasn't quite sure exactly what kind of meals I would put together for a family. Obviously, now that I've done this for so long, it's evolved. I've figured out things. And this is something that I've repeated a million times, but my suggestion is always to take meals that you and your family love and find a way to make them keto friendly. So in the beginning, I was very much in that operating like a diet lifestyle where I am like, this is my food, that is your food. And that changed over time. And I'm really glad it did because I've been able to cut out carbs and sugar for my family, not just myself. They're definitely like lower carb. They're definitely not keto. But the changes I've made have infiltrated into the rest of the family. So I try to make the same meals and tweak it so that I can have it too. So it isn't a lot of extra work, especially if you're a busy family or parent and you don't have a lot of time. It can be daunting to think about having to make several meals for one family.
Yeah.
So I think it's very flexible, and I really, really enjoy the fact that it's flexible because I feel like it leaves me with less excuses to make on why I can't do this lifestyle or why I can't make the meals because I can do this and everybody can enjoy it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. Well, if you think about it too, and we've talked about this, vegetables. I didn't eat vegetables before keto. Now on keto, I eat vegetables all the time. So when I was first started back, into keto before my husband joined me, let's just use an example. We found out about a low carb marinara sauce. So I used that with some ground beef and made spaghetti. But instead of my teenager would have regular noodles because there's no way he was going to eat spaghetti squash. But my husband opened up to the idea, okay, I'll have spaghetti squash. So that's what we did at first.
Yeah,
and
I love
then
spaghetti
I discovered low carb noodles that I loved. And then my husband, when he became keto, he said, okay, I'll try them. And he couldn't believe how great it was. Now his taste buds had changed at that point because
and they do change.
They do change, but I had started changing how I was cooking. So he wasn't keto yet, but because I was trying to find
getting
ways,
a lot of exposure of it anyway, right?
Right,
yep.
right. But we were still able to move forward and nobody did without, and no one else had to do without what they were used to just because I changed my diet, just because I
Yeah,
changed what I did. I didn't expect that my family should do the same thing. So you hear
right.
people say, when you start a diet, whatever it is, right? And we've heard people even on keto, you need to clean out your pantry.
People say that, yeah. You need to get rid of everything that could be a temptation. And I have, and you have, we have a little bit of a different approach to
Right.
that. I think that that's really hard. I think that that's really hard to do on the family standpoint. And we've certainly noticed as well that if you are living your best keto life and this is working for you and you're doing all the things and you're feeling all the things, people start to pick up on that.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be interested in your lifestyle, your choices that you're making, the changes that are happening. So your family may naturally get on board without really realizing what's happening.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't have to upheave the entire family pantry and the fridge and take everything out. I do think it's really helpful to remove the things that you feel are a temptation for you specifically. Like everybody has those things in their pantry that are for them, that they're
Right.
going to eat or they might
Like,
binge
keep your
on or they might
hands off.
snack on,
It's
over
mine.
snack, overeat on.
Yes.
Yes,
Sorry.
the things that you're like, that's mommy's.
Yes. Leave
And
it.
everybody has, or,
Yeah.
right.
Before
And so,
keto and
in that
now.
perspective, exactly. Oh, yeah, my snack section is much larger and it's much more, I'll fight you,
Right.
than it's ever been. It's very
Yes.
serious. It's like, I'm fine. I'm taking that to the closet because that's how, like, I'm
Right.
removing it. It's not free game in here. Um, and it's funny, but I do think that if there are certain things that you know for a fact that you cannot even have in there, go on and remove those. But do you need to take all your family's food, snacks, pasta, whatever it is, sauces, things like that? I don't think that that is the most helpful way to approach this because
No, that's
very
not the
much
answer.
like anything else, that's a lot of diet mentality.
Yeah.
And we're aiming for a lifestyle. So this is going to be a slow change and a change that hopefully your family may adopt, or even if they just do what my family does and just enjoys some
The,
lower carb and
yeah.
lower sugar
Mine too.
things,
Hmm.
there's nothing that can be lost on that.
I agree with what you're saying. My teenager, for example, he just over time, just living the healthier lifestyle that I did over the last several years, even before keto, I had started eliminating some things from my diet, so to speak, what I eat. And he saw that and he decided, you know what, I don't need all that soda because I stopped drinking soda. So he stopped drinking soda over time because he realized how bad it was for you, basically, point blank. I
Yeah.
mean, he realized,
Yeah.
when you know better, you do better. And sometimes, and we've talked about growing up, and I talked about how I grew up, and no one taught me what was good, what was bad. And I know people say now
Yeah.
food isn't good or bad or whatever. I believe food is good or bad because for me, there are foods that affect my body negatively. Those are bad, and I don't want
Right.
them for
And I think
me.
that for good and bad is your own opinion. We're not
Yes,
blanket stating me that's not a
right.
blanket statement. It is for me, this doesn't work. And for you, it may.
Exactly.
And that's an
Right.
open-minded way to say, not this group of food is bad or good, but this doesn't serve me. And there's a difference in but saying, I don't like the way I feel when I eat this versus that's
Yeah.
a bad food. And that's
Right,
what we do.
right.
We do this doesn't serve me, this doesn't make me feel good. I don't like
So
the
I
way I
don't
feel when I
want
eat this,
that.
so I'm going to
Mhm.
avoid that
Mhm.
because I
Right.
don't like it. That's a
Right.
choice,
It
right?
is a choice. It is a choice. And yeah, totally. So because of me realizing things, and of course I'm vocal because, I'm vocal and
Oh
my
no, you're
son
Molly.
hears me. Yeah, exactly. So because like you were saying a little while ago, how what we're doing will affect our family. And here's the reality. What we're doing will affect our family, good or bad. So
Right.
like in a positive way or a negative way. So if you are making better choices for your body, if you are cutting down the sugar, not eliminating it necessarily, if you're not keto, you're cutting it down. That is going to trickle over to your family, I feel like,
Yeah.
because I see it over and over and over again. And it
Mhm.
might take time, but it very well could happen.
And there's something to be said for a family that chooses that versus you forcing that on them. Them
Yes,
making that choice is actually creating a better relationship with food and their choices, like them having that power, that
right.
allows them to be in control of their future, or, with food, like their future relationship with food and how they look at food is being created by them and not forced. And I think that's a really
That's
positive
so
narrative with
important.
food.
Because you could be creating, if you're eliminating it all and taking it all away, then you could be,
Binge, yeah.
yes, you could be creating a future binge eater, you know? So,
Or
and we
somebody who
talked about
hides
this.
food
Hi,
and things like
right,
that.
right.
You feel
Because
like you
there's shame
overeat,
with it
binge,
or
or
it's bad or
right. There's
whatever,
a
which is
lot of
not the
feelings.
case. Right, right. So
Yeah.
you have to be careful, keep a balance, we're always about
And
the
I love that your
balance.
son chose that. So
Yes,
he
he chose that
recognized it in
himself.
himself, and you didn't say, "This is bad." You said, "I'm not doing this anymore. Doesn't serve
Right.
me."
I
And
never
he
made
said,
him.
"Well, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is going to serve me anymore either." And
Right.
that's such a powerful moment. I love that that happened for you.
It totally did. And Pete also stopped drinking soda after I did. I stopped myself on my own after having, I'm pretty sure I shared this before, an 8 to 10 can
Yeah,
soda
we
habit
talked
a
about it, didn't we?
day for my entire life. Soda in the
Yeah,
bottle when I was a baby. I mean, this is
that's
seriously my
crazy. Yeah.
entire life. But in 2014, November, I quit cold turkey. I said, you know what? No more. When I learned how bad it was for me, I stopped. I didn't expect my husband to stop. I didn't expect my son to stop. I was starting to make healthy choices, and that was the very first healthy choice. It was
And
the year my dad died. It was the very first healthy choice I made for myself, and I've never gone back. So then what happened after that is my husband stopped drinking it so much, and he went down to, what was it called? But it was just as bad. Ginger ale, because he thought it was better. But it was full of sugar too. He didn't know. He just thought it wasn't Coke, so it was okay. It was ginger ale until he realized, and then he stopped. My son is now 18 years old, and he will have soda, but he limits himself, and he does it on his own. He says, I'm going to put one in the fridge, and this is what I'll have today. So he's learned to discipline himself.
and the key thing here is that when we focus on ourselves, when we make ourselves better, there's no way that that doesn't affect our family. And if you're
Right.
doing good things, those good things are going to be affecting them. And so by you focusing on yourself and not on what everybody else is doing, right? We have a tendency to do that. We have a
Mm.
tendency to say, "Oh, well, my family can't do this," or "My family's not going to support me," or I don't have support, so I don't have anybody to help me," or and one, you always do if you've started a keto community in any facet of that, if it's Facebook, Instagram, you
You
100% you
have.
do. You're not
Yeah.
alone. One, just make that, and if you make that a thing for yourself, and if you haven't, do that now if that's what you're if you need support. So no, you're not alone, and you don't need them to work on yourself.
Yeah, good.
You
Yes.
don't need anyone else to work on you.
That's right.
But how amazing is it when we stop this narrative of everyone else and we turn this inside, when we change ourselves, things around us change. And
Mm-hmm.
isn't that funny that just by pointing the finger back at yourself and making choices to make you healthy, the automatic trigger is that maybe the people around you also get healthier?
Yeah, isn't
Maybe.
that
And not
beautiful?
everybody's going to, but it is possible that that also happens. And I never set out to make my family keto. I set out to just be healthier, and it's changed, and there are things that they've adopted in their lifestyle now that they would never have. And that
Right.
is better. And my husband has always been thin, and I've talked about that. He's never really needed a diet. We would be together in our ruthless eating choices, our reckless, I should say, our reckless eating choices. We would partake together. We would eat pizza 3 or 4 nights a week. We would drink lots of good, tasty craft beers. We would, maybe have some whiskey here and there. We would eat the candies, eat all the things. And I was really scared that I was not going to have support from the person that I did all these things with. And
Yeah.
what was I to do now that I wasn't going to partake in any of these things? Um,
Oh, that's big.
and
Yeah.
if I had led with that narrative that I had written for myself, then I would be where I had always been, which is I'd stay for a little while, but ultimately his choices affected me. That was a choice that I was making because I didn't put enough focus on myself and what I wanted to do. I
Mm-hmm.
let somebody else's behavior affect me. And this time I said, "Oh, no, 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 no. It does not matter. My eye is on the prize. I can't see. I've got blinders on. I can't see anything else around me. It does not matter what anyone else does. It only matters the choice that I make for me." That was a light bulb moment. And all of a sudden, the choices that he made didn't have any rule over me. He could eat those things because he's himself.
Yeah.
They didn't have to affect me. So there is a disassociating from that behavior and that um, habit that changed how I was able to create my own lifestyle,
Yeah.
even though my family wasn't supportive.
Right
And
at
that's
that
okay because they
time.
don't have to
Right.
be.
Right. That was magical. That was magical. I'm just telling you. No, Ashley, that was so good. Well, speaking of the husband, let me tell you about me and my husband. So I just already said, it was years ago that I changed my habits, and little by little, things changed. And even before keto, I would go back and forth with different food plans. I've talked about
Mm-hmm.
this before, but
Yep,
what would
same.
happen is the weekends, my husband would say, want to have a blowout? Want to have a blowout? And we'd have a blowout on Sundays. It was Sunday evening movie time, blowout. And when I say blowout, honey, I did good all week, but the Sunday I would
To
have
destroy it on Sunday, to
yes, with
mess
a
it
blowout
all
from my
up.
lovely, lovely
Mm-hmm.
husband. Like
A
really a
blowout.
blowout. Because you know what? It made it so much easier for me to do it because he would suggest it. So
Because you
did
have a
I?
partner in crime. Of course.
Yes,
It feels
right.
good
So
to do it
and
with a
here I
with a
am
partner.
blaming him, right? Right. So it's
Oh,
kind of
poor
like
Pete. We
he
love you.
influenced me. But Ben and Jerry, we were all about the Ben and Jerry, and it would be like a thing, and he would get everything but the kitchen sink or something, and I would get like the
Yeah.
chocolate brownie. And this is what we would do together. And so when you do something like that together regularly, like you were
And you create
talking
a
about, you
habit.
were right,
Mm-hmm.
and then you stop. It is a little change. It's like I'm stopping, you're still going, but I'm stopping. And that's not always easy to do.
And you know, speaking the truth, it's hard not to side eye. You really gonna eat that without me?
Right.
You really?
How
I mean,
very dare you?
it is.
Right.
But not only that,
But
but like,
like you
are you
said
sure
though,
that's healthy? Like, you do have
oh
a
yeah, a
little,
little
you do have a
judgy
little,
judge, like, oh, you're gonna eat
little
that with all that
judgment.
sugar.
Well, I don't know if you looked at the nutrition label on that, but yeah, we don't need that anymore. Like,
Did you see how many
but
carbs are
whatever
in
you
that?
need to do though.
Right, right,
Exactly.
right.
Whatever you need to do, if you gotta make somebody else feel a little bit bad to stay on track, you do it. You're getting permission from me right
Whatever
now.
gets
You
you
can just side eye judge
focused.
whatever keeps you laser focused.
Right,
That's what
right,
you do.
right. No, you're right. But no, I did though. Then though, I would cave. I would, I would try to be strong, but it was
Me
so
too.
easy. But
And
when
fun.
I started keto, it was different. I had a set
Mm.
plan. It wasn't, you know why? Because I enjoyed my diet, quote unquote,
Yeah.
every day.
Yes.
So that Sunday, I didn't need a blowout. So what I
Because you were
would do,
fulfilled. You felt
I
satisfied.
felt satisfied. But those other times, I would need that blowout to keep going. But it would undo
Because the
everything.
no taste diets are awful.
It was such a horrible cycle. But when I started keto, I it took a little more effort, took a little more time, but I would make my little snacks. I would make my ice cream. I used to do that before I bought ice cream. I would make my little chocolate peanut butter or chocolate with nuts. I would make my snacks, and guess what? He was still eating the junk. He was still having that Ben and Jerry's everything. And guess what else? He felt so sick the next day. And here's the thing.
Yeah.
I think before we always felt sick, but we both
You
felt
didn't know. You
sick.
don't know.
So
Yeah.
we were
Yeah.
used to it. But now I wasn't feeling sick. And he would say, oh, I don't know why, but my belly is upset today. I'm a little dodgy belly. And I'd say, could have been, I don't know, the Ben and Jerry's with the
The
chips,
shade
with the,
comes out. I don't know. Maybe it was the crap that you ate for 3 hours last night. No judgment here, just a suggestion.
it's
Wow.
true
A lot
though.
of lot of judgy
That
judge in there. That's
is,
okay.
I had to tell him, I was like, I
I
hate to
had done
tell you
that.
this, but this is the
I know.
truth. You feel like that because of what you ate last night. Okay. I'm
Because
just
I feel
letting
like
you
$1 million
know.
and I'm going to go run around the block. See you in a minute. I've had 3 cups of coffee. Oh, you're having a hard morning. Oh, bless
Yeah,
your heart.
it's true though. It
It is
is.
so true.
And then when he started keto, he would have low carb ice cream. He wouldn't have the whole pint. He would have the little chocolates I would make. And he would wake up the next day feeling like a fresh daisy. He
Isn't
never
that
felt bad.
funny? Isn't it funny when you have that moment of like awoken clarity from eating? We
Yeah.
don't give our food enough
Credit. We don't give it enough
we
credit
we don't give
or
our food enough credit for how we feel, but then the
good and
moment that we
bad.
do, we're like,
Hmm.
got it. This is
Yeah.
where I want to be for the rest of my life. Like
Yes. Yes.
once you
When
get
you
that
really have
keto
that
clarity,
woke moment. Yeah.
it's like it's not day one, it's like weeks in. All
Hmm.
of a sudden, all the pieces fall
It
together.
all
You
makes
wake up, you're
sense.
out of that cloud and you
Yeah.
can look up
It's
and
like I
this is
felt
where the
like
judgment
that because of that.
like this is
Oh.
where the judgment comes in and you're like, girl, okay, look, I can see y'all down here. Okay, because I'm up here now. Okay, y'all, I can see y'all because I'm up here now. And what y'all don't have is mental clarity, but I do. So we all good because I'll steer us through this, but y'all need to fix it. Really need to fix it. Like, you know, and it's funny
With
because you
love.
literally
With
wake up and
love.
you're
She
like, why
says it
is
with
everyone
love.
having such a bad day? Yeah, I'm like having a great. It's so funny, but we
It's
joke about the mental
true.
clarity. It's like if you don't experience it,
You
you
don't
literally just
know.
don't understand the fog that you're actually currently living in. And this is not just from keto, but just in general. If you're not taking good care of yourself, you may not feel great, right?
Right.
And anytime you sort of clean up your diet, you start exercising, you start taking care of yourself, you start to feel that change. It just happens that ketones, they do play a huge um, part in that jolt of I feel excited, I feel good, I
Yeah.
feel amazing.
Yeah.
And if you're somebody who's like, I could really use that, this could work,
Right.
and then once you get that little taste of cracking into that hemisphere,
Oh,
you
yeah.
don't want to get knocked off of it
Oh,
because
it's
you don't know how
true.
good you could feel.
It's true. No, no. I said to my husband a couple months ago, "You going to do a free day with me?" He said, "Oh, no. I am
I know.
not
I
getting
love
out
that
of."
he's holier than thou now. I love that he's like, wow, you guys
It's
do cheat
true.
days. It's like, listen here.
Yeah,
Okay.
listen, listen,
Listen here. You
Larry.
were second here. Okay.
Right?
Okay. Okay. You were not the one that brought this into this family. I'm gonna
No,
need you to sit down.
but he told me last week. He goes, "Oh, guess what?" I said, "What?" He said, "I reached my goal." You did what? Yeah, the
Brag.
little
Oh, guess what? No, I'm
the
just kidding.
Renfo gave, like, I forget if it was fireworks or he reached his ultimate
Aw.
weight goal and his body fat percentage. He's an athletic percentage now. And he's wearing shirts.
No, I bet.
He's wearing shirts where, okay, he would put on a shirt. See, okay, so in 2017 he was lean because we were on it, boy. I mean, we were doing high fat, low carb. We were exercising regularly together. He was looking lean and good. But then 2018, I got off track. Guess who followed me? He did. And then he
It always
stayed.
goes like that.
But then
Yeah.
I came back. So then he had these clothes that he had from 2017. So he had this shirt he put on. He's like, look at my, I have a muffin top. That's what he called. He said, a muffin top. He's like,
A man
he
muffin
goes,
top. That's
he
funny.
goes, I just don't feel comfortable in this shirt. I just don't like that. And I thought, I didn't realize men felt like that. They didn't like
Yeah.
the hangover there. So anyway, he doesn't have that anymore. So he is just thrilled to pieces. So he's lost all the
That's
weight.
awesome.
Yeah. So keto, he is all
Is he
about
gonna
it.
go below where is he have like other goals now or
Well, he wants to get back into really lifting again because he used to do that. He hasn't really been
okay.
doing that because
Well,
he's
that's
just
awesome. A
been,
composition
yeah,
change maybe
yeah,
or yeah.
composition
I
now,
love that. Love
which
that the journey doesn't stop. Yeah.
no, 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 no. He's very much he's a drummer, so he gets a lot of exercise, doing the drums.
Yeah.
And at work
Yeah.
he walks 15,000 steps at work. He's constantly running around everywhere. So he gets like the activity. So he
Yeah.
definitely is in a calorie deficit all the time, but he doesn't have the muscle mass I think that he would like to have again. So he's
Yeah.
going to get back into that. He said that's his goal
That's
now. So,
awesome.
yeah. So when it comes to cooking for your family, a lot of people wonder how can you cook for your family and still stay keto. There are so many people on Instagram that I follow that show here's mine, here's theirs, and it's so
Yeah, I love
similar.
that.
For example, you do burgers, right? Well, my teenager, he likes a regular bun. I like lettuce. My husband likes a low carb bun. So, like,
Yeah.
nothing major different there. The main meat was cooked because keto
Yeah, everybody's eating the same
protein.
protein.
Yeah,
Everybody can eat the same side if it's a vegetable.
the
There
vegetable. The
are
only,
things that you can do to eliminate a lot of individual orders, right? Because as moms,
yeah,
I feel like we're order takers, right? Um, I feel like if you pick a vegetable that everyone seems to love and you pick a carb maybe that the whole family's going to eat that you're okay without eating, that gives them some curb
Right.
appeal to whatever else, right?
Right.
I know my kids are much more adventurous to try vegetables when it's paired with something they know they love too. So I
Yeah.
try to make it simple, right? And do that. And then you're right, cook a protein that everyone enjoys
Right.
and just figure out what that, if there's a carb that goes with it, how you can eliminate that. So for, like you said, for lettuce, for burgers, I do cheese shells for tacos, or just make a taco salad.
Right.
Nachos,
Right.
I use pork rinds if you want to keep it more clean, or you could go, like low carb tortillas. You can make your own tortilla chips. You
Mm-hmm.
make,
Yeah, I make
um,
the cut the carb, I cut it and then I fry it in the avocado oil, and
yeah, make
that's
your own chips.
awesome. Yeah, you can make your
Make
own chips.
salads. I mean, there's so many things you can do
Breakfast,
by using the.
breakfast, eggs
Oh,
and bacon and
yes,
sausage. And
easy.
then if your kids might want toast and you don't have toast. I mean that you just don't have the carb, or you go with the replacement of like a Chompy's bread or something like that.
Exactly.
It's become very easy for me. And I know we talked about this. We remember when we started and it wasn't so
Yeah, it
easy.
wasn't.
So it's easy for us to say now, it's really become easy, but it has become easy. We're not a diner. We're not a, like you said, like everybody's different order. We don't
Yeah,
need to
order.
do that.
Yeah.
We make our protein, we make our vegetable, we give them an option for a carb, and then we do whatever, an extra vegetable or more of the
And I will tell
protein or
you
more.
too, like, we have dessert in the house. My kids have they have been on this weird, they like the sugar-free Pop-Tart. They like the sugar-free popsicles now. Like
Oh,
I never brought those in the house. I've never even eaten them. It's just funny that their tastes have changed in some ways. They still
right.
eat candy. They're little. They still eat candy. They still all these things.
Yeah,
But when I provide an option that is keto friendly, they don't turn their nose up to it.
right.
They eat my
Well,
brownies if
because
I
it's
make
not
them.
weird. It's
It's
not
not,
weird.
and that's also a testament to how good the stuff actually is
Right,
too,
right. It's
but
not a
also
diet
how.
food.
Exactly, and also how you change your taste buds do change over
They
time,
do,
so
they do.
because they're not being exposed as much to those things before as they are now, like, it's different, so they actually enjoy my Lily's chocolate chips. They
Right.
enjoy my simple dessert of strawberries and cream and chocolate, or homemade ice cream. They think that's fun, like, if you're having a hard time, get your kids involved, get your family involved in what it
Yeah.
is that you're making, and look at the options that you have to just make it simple so that you can stay on track, but
Yeah.
still enjoy the food, and you can eat with your family. And your food isn't going to be that much different.
No.
So if you feel like you're overwhelmed because you have to make a lot of meals, make what you want to make what the family will eat, and just make just slight adjustments. And
Right. It doesn't
90%
have
of
to
the
be
time, most
hard.
of it you're going to be able to eat.
Right. That's right. You are. Like when I make the spaghetti, I just do the meat sauce separate from the noodles. Like the
Yeah.
noodles, I have my son's noodles, I have me and my husband's noodles. I weigh it out, I do ours. It's separate, and then you combine it on the plate. So you don't have to mix it
Exactly.
all together. Like there's so, like you said with the tacos, cheese shells, low carb
You can do
tortillas.
low
My
carb
son does
tortillas.
regular shells. I mean, it's not, it really doesn't have to be difficult. It really, and it can work. It can work without you feeling like a short line cook or a short order cook or whatever they
Yeah,
call
a
that,
short
you know?
order.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's just so many ways that you can make this a family-friendly event and affair as you learn what it's going to work for you. You can also learn how to make different choices and changes for the whole family. That's very easy. And the biggest thing is not to let this get you hung up in your journey. It's not about them. And I don't mean that it's not about them. I think at this point, if you've
Yeah.
listened to this entire
You
episode, you
know.
know
Yeah.
that this is about you and
Mm-hmm.
you becoming a better person, mom, parent, friend, family member, spouse. There's no way that that doesn't impact everybody
Right.
and make everybody's life a little bit better, right? Because when we're our best selves, we can contribute to our community. We can be
Yeah.
better in all those ways to all those family members, friends, and so forth. So making yourself the most important part of your journey has to happen, and we get so caught up in what's going on around us that we forget that it's not what's going on around us, it's what's going on inside us. We have to point those fingers back around and say, okay, is this going to be a challenge? Is it going to be a change? Absolutely. Can I do this? Absolutely. Can my family adjust? Absolutely. They're resilient. You are resilient. You can find a way to make this work for you.
Yeah.
And as long as you keep trying and you don't give up,
Mm.
That's the magic sauce.
Yes.
That is the magic sauce. That is the secret.
Don't give up.
Don't get tied up in how difficult it's going to be. Get excited about how you can start making choices that's going to better the entire family.
Yes. I love that. I love that.
I hope this empowered you. I hope you feel like you can leave here and you can make small adjustments and not any overhaul your entire life and clean out your
Right.
pantry and just, destroy the entire family's dreams of pizza night. And I hope you
You
take
can
away
have
something
pizza.
positive. Exactly, you
You
can. There's so
can.
many ways to do that. Instagram is amazing. Reach out to your community, rely on them for
Yes.
support and ideas and creation because that's why we stay in the community and we love it so much. And it will help you. It's such a large tool to your disposal, and you should absolutely use it. So there's so many moms and dads and families on there that share those meals and
Yeah.
show how it works for everybody. And I love that. So hopefully you've learned something here today with us. And if anything, we've given you a little bit of motivation to stay on track and keep plugging along. As always, we love you all, and we will see you soon.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for joining us today. You can find and connect with us over on Instagram at More Than Just Keto. Don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss out on the fun. We'll see you next time.